said that, Obama doesn't see America the way you and I see America. Do you think Obama loves America as much as you do?
I know Obama loves America, and I'm sure that is why he's running for president, is because he wants to do what he believes is in the best interest of this great nation. I don't question at all Barack Obama's love for this great country.
Sarah Palin today actually taking some questions aboard the campaign plane. She says she doesn't question Barack Obama's love of America, though she has said he pals around with terrorists in the past. Let's talk strategy now. CNN senior political analyst David Gergen, CNN contributor and GOP strategist Bae Buchanan, who supports John McCain, and Obama supporter and Democratic strategist Jamal Simmons. David, what do you make of where the race is now? I mean, with 18, almost 17 days left to go.
Barack Obama is in a commanding position. There are tracking polls which do show a tightening. It's interesting, Gallup actually now takes two polls. They have one poll which people, based on their history of who votes, they show a 2-point race. But then when they include people who say they're going to vote this year for the first time, a lot of these new, young, or minority voters, then Obama has a 6-point lead. So,
and even with our CNN poll of polls, there is a 2-point tightening between these two men.
Yeah, there's a little tightening now that's going on, so that's good news for John McCain.
Does that mean that these, these attacks, who is Barack Obama, these robocalls that we've been hearing about, is this working?
I don't think we know that for sure, but obviously there's a correlation. We don't know if there's causation. We don't know if one, or people are having some second thoughts about Obama, or there's a natural return of people to the Republican side. I mean, we always thought there's going to be some closing. But the fact that their candidates are both campaign in essentially Bush states and red states means that both campaigns think that McCain's in trouble and he's on the defense. So the campaigns don't show the same kind of thing we're seeing in the polls. I also think, Anderson, any day that goes by with McCain behind, in which he doesn't dominate the news and advance the story, is not a good day for him. This was a pretty quiet day, all things considered.
Bae Buchanan, I mean, do you take heart in this little tightening in some of these polls?
You're absolutely right, Anderson. I sure do. I've been watching it now for over a week. It's not as much as I'd like, but we've got 2 more weeks. If it remains this steady, this thing could be turned around. I think what would happen is if it really started to close even more significantly than it has, there'll be so much talk about it and focus on that I think it will encourage and energize Republicans. Independents will see that maybe John McCain can do it.
So what do you think is working, Bae? I mean,
you got to remember why Obama is ahead. It's not because of this terrific campaign he ran, his personality, his issues. It's because of the collapse of the economic system. I think people got so teed off at the bailout and all that's happened in the financial world that they just have rejected Republicans outright. And now I think they're settling in and saying, all right, I was really teed off, and I'm still teed off, but do I want to go so far as to vote somebody far to the left of my policies? And that's the big question. Will they kind of come back to a more moderate position, which would be John McCain?
Jamal Simmons, are you concerned? Do you see a tightening?
I think there probably is a tightening. The reality is American elections are built to be close. There's typically a 2, 3, 4-point race at the most, not a 6 or 7-point race. And in fact, if you think about Democrats, a Democrat hasn't gotten more than 50% of the vote in a national election for president since 1976. That was Jimmy Carter. He got 50.8% after Watergate and Vietnam and the pardoning of a president by Gerald Ford. He got 50.8%. So we have always expected, the Obama campaign has always expected this was going to be a close race. And if you look at the Electoral College, as David said earlier, that's really where the magic is here. They are playing almost exclusively on a red battlefield, and that's going to be very beneficial in the long run.
You agree with that, David?
I do. I think that the more the campaign is conducted in Virginia, North Carolina, Florida, and Ohio, the more it looks like all Obama has to do probably is win one of those 4.
Bae, I want to read you something that Peggy Noonan wrote today after watching Palin for 7 weeks. She says that there's little sign that she's basically qualified. She says, in the end, the Palin candidacy is a symptom and expression of a new vulgarization in American politics. It's no good, not for conservatism and not for the country. And yes, it is a mark against John McCain, against his judgment and idealism. I mean, her piece was brutal on Sarah Palin from a very well-respected conservative. Has Palin hurt McCain?
Oh, absolutely not. Palin may be one of the smartest vice presidential nominees in our history. I mean,
wait a minute, wait. You just said that
the question was to me, but look at what she's accomplished. I don't know any other vice presidential nominees that came on a ticket and really resurrected the ticket by herself, single.
Wait, did you say she may be one of the smartest vice presidential nominees or the smartest choices?
one of the smartest choices for the nomination of vice president. Absolutely, that's what I meant, and it's clear that's the case. She has really overnight energized the party. Everybody agrees the Republicans are completely in line with McCain now. They were not just a month or so ago. And what she's done several times, the debate, she held her own. She's appealed to an interesting group.
Okay.
She had 70 million people watch her debate, and that was because of Sarah
Anderson.
Palin.
Jamal?
Anderson, Sarah Palin may be very smart on the inside, but we haven't quite seen her exhibit that in her public demeanor and how it is she's been campaigning. This is a woman who's already had to come off and back off of a statement again today. She's done this. She went out and said that Barack Obama was palling around with terrorists, even though he was 8 years old when this guy, Bill Ayers, was doing what he was doing, and he's been repudiated. We need, I think Americans felt like John McCain's whole campaign was sort of undermined by the choice of Sarah Palin. He lost this notion of experience. He lost his notion of the steady hand, and that's the thing I think that really is hurting him.
From a nonpartisan perspective, David, I mean, clearly she has energized a core conservative base, but she has certainly also energized Democrats against her and McCain, and clearly now it seems like conservative. I mean, some conservatives, Peggy Noonan and others, kind of rethinking.
I agree with that. I think that Buchanan is absolutely right. She did enormous good for John McCain early on, but increasingly her positives are going down, her negatives are going up. They're higher than her positives now, and she is rallying other people outside the base of the Republican Party to support Obama, and they think that she's a very risky choice. And so, from that point of view, and also I have been surprised by the number of conservative columnists out, George Will, and Peggy Noonan, and David Brooks today in the New York Times talking about Obama's temperament, how well suited he was, and how impressed he was. There are a number of conservative intellectuals who have really come the other way. It's been quite interesting.
You hit it on the nose.
Intellectuals,
intellectuals, they aren't the ones that are in there in fighting for our causes. Those who are really about this Republican Party and about the conservative cause.
Intellectual is a dirty word now?
Palin, fully behind Palin.
Right.
And to suggest her ratings are up, her negatives, that's her job. She's the attack dog, for heaven's sakes.